Hello everyone. Welcome to Karnataka LMS, Namma Shakti, Namma Bhavishya, initiated by Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. This video with regard to the organizational behavior subject and for the BBM students. I'm Ranjitha B.R. Welcome you all for this today's topic, that is observational learning. Observational learning is the process of learning by watching the behaviors of others. The targeted behavior is watched, memorized, and then mimicked and followed. It is also known as shaping and modeling. Observational learning is most common in children as they imitate behaviors of adults. While at times we intentionally observe experts to learn new information, observational learning isn't always intentional, especially in young children. A child may learn to swear or smoke cigarettes by watching adults. They're continually learning through observation, whether the target behavior is desirable or not. Individuals can also learn by observing what happens to other people and just by being told about something, as well as by direct experiences. Much of what we have learned comes from observing and imitating models like parents, teacher, peer groups, superiors, film stars, etc. This view that we can learn through both observation and direct experiences have called observational learning. It is also called as social learning theory. This learning assumes that learning is not a case of environmental determinism or of individual determinism. Rather, it is a blending of both. So social learning theory emphasizes, or observational learning emphasizes the interactive nature of cognitive, behavioral, and environmental determinants. The influence of model is central to the social learning viewpoint. 4 processes have been found in the to determine the influence that the model will have on an individual. So then we concentrate on a meaning of observational learning. Observation learning, also called social learning theory, occurs when observers' behavior changes after viewing the behavior of a model. Observing other person and adopting those behavior. It is called observational learning. 4 processes of observational learning are: number 1, attention process. People learn from a model only when they recognize and pay attention to its critical features. We tend to be most influenced by models that are attractive, repeatedly available, important to us, or similar to use in our estimation. Or to learn, an observer must pay attention to something in the environment. They must notice the model and the behavior occurring. That is the first process, that is attention. And the second one, that is retention process. A model's influence will depend upon how well the individual remembers the model's action after the model is not longer readily available. Or simple attention is not enough to learn a new behavior. An observer must also retain or remember the behavior at a later time. So first we will observe, we give the attention, and we retain those memories for our future use, for using it for the later time. That is retention process. Next one, reproduction process. After a person has seen a new behavior, by observing the model, the watching must be converted to doing. This process then demonstrates that the individual can perform the modeled activities. So it is reproduction. The behavior, what we have seen or given attention, retention, then now we are reproducing it. The behavior is remembered, but can it be performed in the real life? So reproduction is the process where the observer must be able to physically perform the behavior in the real world. That is reproduction. The last one, motivation, or we can call it as reinforcement. Individuals will be motivated to exhibit the modeled behavior if positive incentives or rewards are provided. Behaviors that are positively reinforced will be given more attention, learned better, and performed more often. So all learning requires some degree of personal motivation. For observational learning, the observer must be motivated to produce the desired behavior. So three-dimensional, so we covered the process of observational learning. Next, we'll move on to three-dimensional change brought by observational learning in an individual's behavior. How it will change the individual's behavior. So individuals interpret the situation in a different way and might react on it. So every individual interpret the situation in a different way. No one will interpret in the same manner. If you give one poem, I can interrupt in to my knowledge, and it can be interrupted by you in a different manner. So every person, whoever reads the poem, will interpret differently. So that is because individuals are different. They're rational thinking animals. It cannot be programmed to be think like in a similar way. So everyone will read it, will interpret it, and digest the things in differently. So everyone, individual, interprets the situation in different way and might react on it. So next one. Change is caused due to the direct experiences of the individual rather than being inborn. So change. If you experience, direct experience any situation, then you might change it. So individual will change to the circumstances or to the direct experiences rather than being inborn. So this change is mostly permanent. Yes, whatever the change will take place by observing others, it is mostly permanent one. Okay, now let us move on to the factors that influence observational learning. What are the factors influence for the observational learning? Behaviors observed from people who are warm and nurturing towards the observer. Next, if the behavior is rewarded, why they observe? Number one, if the whom we are observing, they are very warm and we have a affection towards them, we have a feelings towards them, we might have thought that those are very close to us, and we had a soft corners for them. So then we observe those. So if you have seen young children at home, they observe the stars, film stars, or the cricket players whom they love, whom they feel as a great personality. They watch them, they imitate them. So that is why whom they are thought as a warm person. And if the behavior is rewarded, yes, by observing them, if we get anything else, if we reward it, then also we observe. When imitating behaviors has been rewarding in the past, if the behaviors imitated in the past, if it is rewarded us, we have gained anything, we have noticed by others, something else. If it is rewarded, then it is in the, so it will boost, it will motivate us to observe in the next situation also. Lack of confidence in his own abilities or knowledge. Why we imitate others? If you imitate your father, if you imitate your teacher, or if you imitate your brothers and sisters, it is because we lack we confidence in our own abilities or knowledge. We think that if my father is successful, why he is successful, what are the factors made him to be successful, so then we will imitate him to be. It is because, so he is by all these factors he has become successful. So if I adopt those factors in my life, I also become successful. So that is why we feel there our own abilities are not up to the mark, or we lack the knowledge. So if we have an inferiority about our own capabilities, then we follow others. Or if you see the political leaders, so many people surrounded by them because the power, so these people just follow them. So that is the lack of confidence, also one of the factors that influence observational learning. Next one, when behaviors are executed by authority figures. Yes. So behaviors by the authority figures. If the CEO of a company, chief executive officer of a company, or uh, the company's managing director, so many authoritative figures, or if you are working in a government department, the IAS officers or a KS officers, those are the authoritative figures. So we observe them because we have a high respect on, so they will be in a upper hand, everything. So we observe them because of their authority figures. Then like-minded people of same age and sex, like if you imitate, or if you observe, you always observe your own age students. The girls imitate the girls, boys imitate the boys of your same age. So these are the factors that influence observational learning. And some other points, like behavior from people who are of a higher social status and whom we admire, like politicians of a social status, or the cricketers, cricket captains, or the film stars. So they will have a higher social status, and whom we admire, and we follow the dressing, the way of dressing, the way they talk, they sit, they walk, everything. In a childhood days, I used to imitate this one, Amitabh Bachchan, the way he walked, the way he stands, the way he presents the things. So even we used to follow the Rahul Dravid. So everything, Steffi Graf. So we use, because of their social status, we always, because we admire them, so we want to be like them. So we try to adopt those behaviors of the people who are whom we admire. Then when the situation is confusing, unfamiliar, or ambiguous, imitating others' behavior seems like the safest bet. Yes, uh, when we don't have the clues, or the situations is very confusing to us, it's a very unfamiliar one, so then we might observe the other people's, it may be a religious leaders, religious gurus. When we are confused, we just try to follow them, their words, their preachers, because our own thoughts are not stable one, and we are in a very unfamiliar situation, a very confusing situation. So it's better we feel like following others. That will be the safe. You may be observed, whenever you're very confused, you ask your parents or the siblings, so that whatever they give the direction, you will try to adopt them. So this is the way it is, because we feel it as a safest one. So these are the factors influence for observational learning. So with this, I end this topic, that is observational learning. In this today's video, we have come across the meaning of observation learning, factors of the contributing for the observation learning, and the process of observation learning, and the dimensions of observational learning. Thank you for watching. Thank you, one and all.